Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Hello one and all, welcome to Seen Through Glass. Welcome to Shanghai, China. Pollution here is a serious problem, hence the surgical mask. Although today is quite a beautiful day in Shanghai, I'm not sure I really need this, but usually I do. Anyway, I will freely admit that China's a bit of a blip on the drive the world adventure. If you don't know, here they're very restrictive of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, really anything that I use to run my business. So it's quite hard to operate here. I did have some plans in place, but those fell through very last minute. I was actually going to do a bit of a road trip. That got cancelled, and I've struggled to find anything else to do car-wise with such short notice and without the use of social media. But anyway, who cares? Drive the World's not only about cars, it's also about exploration. And so today I'm going to take you on a sort of trip around Shanghai, see what I can find, try and protect myself from the pollution, but also take the opportunity to talk to you about what is coming up next for Drive the World, because we are fast approaching the end of the sort of Eastern Asian leg of this year's adventure, and we will soon be commencing the European part of the journey. It's like 3.5 or 4 months around mainland Europe to come. So yeah, during today I will be announcing where I'm going to be going in Europe, what cities, what the route is, etc, etc. But first off, let's go explore. Yes, I am that guy that travels the other side of the world and still gets Starbucks, but you all know this is... And you know, China doesn't drink a lot of coffee, so it's actually quite a miracle that they have Starbucks. So you gotta take what you can get around here. Now, I touched on it briefly in a video with Phil, but I have an obsession with like Asian fashion. Not that I'm a fashionista at all, but I've now found a really trendy shop somewhere on Nanjing Road with what they call unisex clothes. Lots of you are going to hate this, but I love it because at the bottom it says, "The trip is going to take me home." Pretty sure it's a different kind of trip to the one that I'm doing, but I like the synergy with Drive the World. The consensus is no. It's the benefit of travelling with your girlfriend. She stops you from making unwise fashion decisions, which I tend to do way too often. This is the Huangpujiang River. Listen to me and my pronunciation. And as you can see, we have the insane Shanghai city backdrop behind us, and all along this river, people are queuing up to take their photos. The Instagram game here is strong. And if I just flip myself out of this shot, that building right there, the second tallest building in the world. Only the Burj Khalifa is taller. I mean, the pollution's really cleared up today. I've stopped wearing my mask because it's a pretty beautiful day now in Shanghai. I don't really know how to explain where we are, but things got real hectic real quick. This is near the Yew Garden and Shanghai Old Street. It seems to be some kind of like marketplace. There's food, there's shopping. You're getting shoved around left, right and centre. It's super intense but awesome. And I'm just really tempted to dive into one of those like dumpling bars or something because the food all looks insane. Also, one thing I've noticed, because they don't really have YouTube here, people find YouTubers fascinating. Everywhere I go, people are very confused by the art of vlogging. I get a lot of weird looks, people waving, people jumping. I think they're on the BBC maybe. So yeah, all a bit quirky, but I was going with the flow here. I have to say, Shanghai has surprised me today. Yesterday, with all the pollution, just a bit grim and gloomy, and everyone was a little bit rude to us, if I'm honest, and it is a legit 21st century first world struggle to not have Google Maps and social media when you're in a city that is this foreign, because I think I mentioned it earlier in the video, very few people here speak English, so it's quite hard to get around and know what to do. But today, pollution cleared away, found some really interesting parts of the city, just had a wicked time. So yeah, even though this has kind of been like a couple of days off and a bit of a blip in the itinerary, I'm still glad we came. Anyway, you join us now in a revolving restaurant at the top of our hotel. Who doesn't love a revolving restaurant? And the food's pretty good here. Anyway, long story short, I know I need to get onto the European itinerary, so let me eat some food, get some energy back, and then we'll go back down to the room and I'll talk you through the plans for Europe for Drive the World. Rightio, let's get into it then, the nitty-gritty of this video, my route through Europe for Drive the World. I'm going to just sort of reel off the places that I'm going in a sort of date and logistical order, and then at the end of the video I'll give you a little bit more information about the whole European leg. So, middle of March, I think around the sort of 18th or 19th, I fly back from Cape Town to the UK for 2 days to repack my bags and change some camera equipment and to sort of refresh myself before heading into mainland Europe. Now some of you might be going like, what about Brexit? Well, what about Brexit? I have no idea what's going to be happening with that, and I'm trying to think about it. Whatever happens, happens, and we'll just deal with the consequences. But my plan is to set off from London in the UK to France first via the Eurotunnel, and that will be the sort of start of the European adventure. France we pass through pretty quickly. I head down into Spain, and then let me try and, hold on a sec, I'm going to bring it up on my phone. I do know things pretty well, but I just want to make sure I've got the actual route in front of me so that I don't forget anywhere. So yes, here we go. Let me just reel things off. So through France, down to Bilbao in Spain, across to Porto, Portugal, Lisbon, then back into Spain via Marbella, hopping on the ferry across to Ibiza, Mallorca, back across to Barcelona, and then into Monaco. Now I'm going to pause here because, of course, the majority of Europe, if not pretty much all of Europe, is going to be done with my 911 Carrera T, which I should be reunited with in Monaco. Those first few weeks through Spain and Portugal will actually be done with a different car, because whilst the guys at Cars Europe have been fantastic and have tried all that they could to get the car back to me for the actual very start of the European leg, it just wasn't possible. It takes so long to get the car from Australia back to the UK that with all of their might, it's just a couple of weeks late. So that's how it is. Still, it feels kind of appropriate for me to pick up that car in Monaco. It just, you know, I have such an affinity with that place that it's cool. And the car that I've got for the first 2 weeks of the European leg is still pretty damn exciting. So no big issues there. As I say, pick up my car in Monaco around the middle of April. From there, I'll then take my Carrera T into Italy. Because of Logari, I'm not going to be doing a lot of Italy. I'm staying mainly in the sort of northern cities. I'm not going that far south because obviously I did it relatively recently on the channel. So yes, Bologna, Venice, Modena, Milan, Turin, that's the kind of places that I'm going to be going in Italy. Then up into Switzerland, Geneva and Zurich. Through the south of Germany via Munich, into Austria via Spielberg, Zagreb in Croatia, Sofia in Bulgaria, into Romania, then Hungary, Budapest I'm hoping to stop off in, Vienna in Austria again, so we're working our way back up, Prague, Czech Republic, that's a new addition, then back into Germany for Frankfurt and Berlin, up into Copenhagen, Denmark, sort of through Sweden into Norway, going to Oslo for a few days, trying to work out my sort of driving route through Scandinavia, but somehow from Norway I'll loop across and end up in Helsinki, then back into Stockholm, down towards Denmark once again, and the Netherlands, and then Belgium, and then making our way to the UK for the UK sort of special leg in July. So most of July will be spent exploring the UK in the Carrera T. It's obviously the sort of peak of the UK car season then. Lots going on, lots to check out, and I really don't want to spend much time in London during that month. It'll be trying to get up to Scotland and across to Ireland and Northern Ireland and Wales and Birmingham and Manchester and all these different places. So yes, lots to come. I'm secretly quite excited. As amazing as these first few months have been, there's something just familiar about Europe. And anyway, who knows? I think everywhere I'm going so far this year has excited me. But yes, being reunited with the Carrera T will be special. Now, just like when I announced Drive the World in general, if you are living in Europe and you've got ideas of things you think I might want to film or cars that you own that you think might be of interest, you can get in touch. Just email drivetheworld@seenthroughglass.com. And the most important thing is, in the subject of that email, put the city and the country that you're emailing about. So if you are in Spain and you've got an MX-5, you would email Bilbao, Spain, :MX-5. It just helps me prioritize where I'm going when and what to sort of get back to at any one time, because as you can imagine, it's kind of hard keeping up with emails whilst being on the road, but I'm trying, and the last couple of days here in Shanghai have helped. So there we go. That is Europe kind of announced. If you want to see that route in more detail, head over to seenthroughglass.com. I'm going to put it all up there. Also, if you haven't signed up to the Seen Through Glass emailer, do that now, because I actually released all this information a couple of days ago and all those people got it on email, so they can constantly check the route rather than having to skip back through this video a number of times. I will of course be sharing sort of more detailed dates and routes closer to the time, but I wanted to get this announcement out now just so that we could all prepare. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's sort of tour around Shanghai, bit of a random blip, bit of a couple of days off, but actually been a real pleasant surprise here apart from the lack of social media. I know lots of you recommended VPNs, by the way, and ways to sort of hack into the system, but I couldn't get any of it to work, so I've just had to take a couple of days away from things. So anyway, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up if you're excited about the European leg of Drive the World, and make sure to subscribe for plenty more videos to come.